Hi everybody, so this video is going to go over our 8.1 assignment on Edulastic. It goes over the basics of geometry. 8.1 specifically goes over points, lines, and planes. Now later on when you're taking your quiz and your eventual test over this stuff, make sure you have the notes open. Uh, I have our notes open here. I will be kind of popping back and forth and showing you where on the notes each of these things are found. So number one here, it says name 4 points on the diagram. So if we come over to that slide here, you see a point is represented by a dot and a capital letter. So if we look over at this figure over here, we see a lot of letters. We see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different letters here, but only these 5, A, B, C, D, and E, have dots. You'll notice that the T and the S do not have dots next to them like these do in the notes over here. So S and T are not points, they are actually the names of these planes. So if you see a capital letter on a plane, that is actually the name of the plane and not a point. So for points, you will see a black dot next to the capital letter. So if we're naming 4 points on the diagram, there are actually 5 points on the diagram, A, B, C, D, and E. So the A, B, D, E, there again, point S and T. These are not points. If they were points, you would see a black dot next to it. So these are not points. These are just the names of the planes. And obviously, this is line segment DE, and this is line segment BC. So neither of those are planes are points either. Moving on to number 2 here, it says to give 2 other names for line WQ. So if we look over at our notes for lines, there are lots of different ways that we can name lines, and it says that any line can be named by any 2 points on the line, and it does not matter which point you put first. So if we go up here, first of all, the little arrows on the ends mean that this is line WQ. So here's point W, here's point Q. So that means this line here is line WQ. So there's 2 other ways that we can name WQ. One is we could say QW, because again, it doesn't matter which order you put the points in. It could be WQ, it could also be QW. And then also over in the notes it says, notice the E is lowercase and does not have a dot. So this E here is actually the name of the line. We see the same thing up over here. We see this G right here. One, you notice it's a lowercase g, and 2, it does not have a black dot associated with it. This black dot is point W. So this G does not have a point, which means this is line G. So line G will be our other answer there. All right, looking at the same diagram for number 3, it says name 3 points that are collinear. So here we have our slide that talks about what collinear points are. Collinear points are just simply points on the same line. The prefix co, means together, and linear means line. So together on a line are collinear points. So if we're naming 3 points here that are collinear, if we look at this line here, this is line F. R, Q, and S are all on this same line, which means that R, Q, and S are collinear. So name a 4th point that is not collinear with the other 3 points. So Q, R, and S, so just name any other point that is not collinear with these. Well, we have 2 other points on here. One is W and one is T. Again, this capital V over here that doesn't have a dot, this is the name of the plane, so this is plane V. And this F over here is just another name for this line. So this is line F, this is line G. So T and W are not collinear with these. So it says name a fourth point, but there are actually two. We'll say point T, also point W. Oh, it's only going to let me name one, so we'll go with T. They would. Okay, so that's where that check answer button comes into handy. They wanted us to say point W, but point T is also not collinear with these points. So it should have accepted point T, but apparently it wanted us to say W, so we'll go with that. All right, so number 4 here, it says, what is another name for line segment BD? This is, again, just a repeat of the other one. Whenever we're naming lines or line segments, as it shows on this slide here. So we have a line segment here, AB, and it could also be called BA. So it doesn't matter what order you put them. So line segment BD could also be DB. So we just switch the points around. It doesn't matter. So you may think, let's find BD. So BD is here. We're talking about the line segment. So that means these are endpoints. So we're just talking about this segment of this overall line. So line T is the overall line, and BD is just the line segment. So it's just the point. Segment means a part of. So it's a part of this overall line. So we can't name this line S because we're just talking about this segment. We're not talking about the whole line. So DB is our answer. All right, number 5, it says name all rays with endpoint E. So this slide here talks about rays, and the main thing you need to know about rays is that when you name a ray, it must start with the endpoint. So here the endpoint is B. It does not go on past that. It goes on just in one direction. So we have to name this BA. So all the ones that start with E, so there's 4 of them because it goes in 4 different directions. We have EA, EB, EC, and ED. So if the endpoint is E, it has to start with an E. So we can't name anything that doesn't start with an E. So EA, ED, EB, and EC are going to be our answers here. For number 6 here, it says name 2 pairs of opposite rays. So on the next slide, it talks about what opposite rays are. So opposite rays just go in complete opposite directions from the same endpoint. So if we have our endpoint here is E, ED goes this way, so its opposite would go the other way, and that would be EB. Now EA is right here, it goes off to the left, so the one that goes the opposite direction is EC. All right, number 7. This one in particular, I know a lot of people were having some trouble with. It's just asking you which of these represents a ray AB. So that means it's going to look like it's going to have A and then an arrow going in just one direction towards point B. And then line AC. So we're going to have a line with arrows on both sides with A and C, and then a line with just one arrow, AB. So here, there's not an arrow over here, so this can't be right. This is ray AC. It's not a line. Here we have, this would be ray BA, because remember we have to start with the endpoint. So this is BA, it's not a B like it's asking for, so that's not right. Here we have a line going across the bottom, that would be line AC. It is a line, it has arrows on both sides, and then this would be ray AB. So C here would be our answer. And then here, this would be ray AC. So this is not a line because it has an endpoint. It does not continue on past A. So that's why D also could not be the answer. All right, number 8, basically the same type of question here, but this time we are looking for two rays, ray AC and ray BA. I already talked about that's what this is down here. This is ray BA, endpoint at B, and then goes through A. And here we have an endpoint at A that goes through C. So D is going to be your answer for number 8. All right, number 9, another one that gave a lot of people trouble. Just looking at this cube here. Um, so it says, what point is collinear with E and H? So again, just a reminder, looking at this slide here, collinear points are points that are all on the same line. So if we're looking at here, E and H, here's E and here's H. So line segment EH is this bottom front line here. And the point that is collinear is this one, J. Really important that you remember to always use capital letters when you're naming points. If you were to put a lowercase j like I just did there, it would tell you that you were wrong. Um, and the reason for that is because all points need to be with capital letters. So point J with a capital J is correct. So now, which point is not collinear? Well, you could literally name any other point on this box other than E, J, and H. So any other point, let's go with point A. So point A is up over here. It's not collinear with these with E and H. It is collinear with E, but it is not collinear with H. All right, number 10 here. So this slide here is talking about plane intersections. In the notes here, I'm talking about if we look at plane AEH, which is AEH, any plane is named by any 3 points on that plane, so that would be the front of this box. And ADB, A, D, and B, so we're talking about the top of the box. This is the intersection. That's where this front plane and this top plane meet, is line AD. So if we're looking at the problem over here, it's asking AEH, which again is that front box, and FBE. So F, B, and E, we're now looking at this left side of this box. So the front and the left, AE is where these two planes intersect, where they meet, where they cross each other. So A and E, and it would be line AE. Any two planes where they intersect, it creates a line. All right, number 11, we're talking about just this very tip of this dart, which would be a point, so that's what it's representing there, a point. And then here we have a rectangle, and a rectangle is a type of plane. All right, the last two questions on here were both just kind of simple algebra questions, and I was interested to see how many of you were able to do this. I mean, this is about as basic of algebra that you can get, but many of you still aren't really understanding the basic concepts of algebra. So here we have 20 equals 36 plus m. Now, to solve any algebra problem, we do opposite operations. Here we are adding these two together, so to solve, we will subtract. So since it's m plus 36, we are going to subtract 36 from both sides to find our answer. So these will now cancel out, leaving us m. And then 20 minus 36 is negative 16. So negative 16 is going to be our answer here. I saw a common mistake throughout a lot of your homework that was already turned in, where a lot of people were adding these together, and the answer they ended up with was m equals 56. Now, when you say m equals 56, you kind of have to take into consideration what you are really saying. So you always have to kind of look back and think about whether or not your answer makes any sense. So what you are saying here is that m is equal to 36. So you can replace m with 36, or sorry, with 56, and it will come out correct. Well, if m equals 56, that means 36 plus 56 should equal 20, and it certainly does not. 36 plus 56 equals 92. So this should immediately tell you that you are incorrect. It's the final step that you should always be doing when you're doing algebra that most of you probably don't ever actually do. You get your answer and you just plug it in and move on. Always put your answer back in for the variable. So here we're saying m equals 56, but if we were to plug that back in, we do not get a correct answer. Now, we had said the answer was negative 16, and 36 plus negative 16 is 20. So that's how you know that negative 16 is the right answer. On this one, I wanted you to write the m equals negative 16. Sometimes it'll already say like m equals off to the side. That's how you know you only have to put in 16. But in this case, you had to write m equals negative 16. And then our last one here. So we have negative w minus 23 equals negative 19. So again, here we are subtracting. So opposite operation would be to add. So we need to add 23 to both sides. This now cancels out, leaving us negative w equals negative 19 plus 23 is 4. However, 4 is not our answer. I had a few people say that positive 4 was the right answer. What if negative w equals 4? That means positive w equals negative 4. So our answer here is negative 4. And again, if we were to replace w here with negative 4, so this might also be where some people got in trouble. It's negative 4. So basically saying the opposite of negative 4. So if w equals negative 4, then it's minus negative 4 minus 23 equals negative 19. Remember, whenever there's a double negative, you change that into a plus. So this is just 4 minus 23, and 4 minus 23 is negative 19. So here w equals negative 4. All right, so that's all we have for this assignment. Make sure you have this completed and submitted, and all your other assignments are done. If you want to retake that quiz from Unit 5, you certainly can do that as well. Let me know if it's not already opened up for you, and I will open it so that you could retake that quiz. As always, if you have any questions about anything at all, make sure you ask. But that is it for this video, and I will see you in the next one.